Welcome back to a new episode of Neverland Syndrome. At Neverland, you don't grow up, you pretend. In today's story, we explore the journey of a woman who is asked to fold away her dreams and how she learned to unfold them again, stronger than ever.
So this is the story of Preeti, and it's really a journey of quiet, incredible courage. We're going to follow her path, starting with a dream she had to surrender. Then we'll see how a new world offered a new promise. We'll get into the tough part, her life of concrete, courage, and coffee, and then the fight against what felt like an impossible paper wall. After that, the moment she'd been waiting for, a family reunited. And we'll wrap it all up with what she learned, the story of her unfolded dream. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so our story kicks off in Bombay. Now, you have to picture Preeti. She was this brilliant university student. I mean, literally, her name was always at the top of every single list. She just had this incredibly sharp mind, you know? She could see solutions where everyone else just saw problems, and she had such a clear vision for where she was going. But, and this is a big but, that vision wasn't exactly what everyone else had in mind for her.
And here's where we get to the real heart of the conflict, right? On one side, you've got Preeti's ambition. This was a really modern desire to carve out her own identity, in boardrooms, on big, groundbreaking projects. But then, on the other side, you have her family's expectations. And look, their wishes came from a good place, a place of love, for sure. But they were pointing her down a very different, much more traditional path. Security, stability, a settled life. It's that classic push and pull, isn't it? The individual versus the tradition.
This one question from her mother, it just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the kind of pressure she was dealing with. It wasn't some aggressive demand, not at all. It was this gentle, constant persuasion that was wrapped in love, but it felt a little bit like a chain. The message was crystal clear. Sure, your achievements are great, but what do they really mean without a family, without a husband? It's like they were incomplete without that traditional stamp of approval.
So what do? Faced with this just overwhelming expectation, and then this totally suitable man named Rahul comes along, Preeti made a choice. She just folded her ambition away, tucked it somewhere deep inside. The way it's described is that her heart was heavy as monsoonal clouds. I love that. And her surrender, it wasn't this big, dramatic thing. There wasn't a fight. It was just this quiet, internal decision, a silent giving in to what everyone else wanted.
But here's the thing about a dream you surrender. It doesn't just vanish into thin air, right? Sometimes it just goes to sleep. It lies dormant, just waiting for the right reason to wake up again. And for Preeti, that reason arrived 2 years later, cradled in her very own arms.
So for 2 whole years, Preeti's ambition was just tucked away. But then her daughter, Radha, was born. And holding her, well, that ignited this fierce new kind of love. A love that just demanded a bigger, better world for her little girl. And her husband, Rahul, he saw it. He noticed the spark of the old Preeti coming back when she'd stare at her old engineering journals. He got it. And he's the one who put a pamphlet for a master's program in New York, of all places, right in front of her. He just said, apply. For her, for you. He was basically giving her permission to dream again. But this time, it wasn't just for her. It was for their daughter, too.
That acceptance letter. Wow. It was like a ticket to a whole other universe, but it came with an absolutely impossible price tag. To build their future, she would have to leave her 1-year-old daughter behind in India. Can you even imagine? The night before she flew out, she whispered this promise to her sleeping child. You see, this wasn't just about a career anymore, not even close. This was a promise that this huge, heart-wrenching sacrifice was going to be worth it in the end.
And just like that, Preeti lands in New York City, a place that literally runs on ambition and caffeine, right? There was absolutely no time for culture shock, no time to feel homesick. She had to take all of that grief, all of that longing for her daughter, and somehow transform it into pure, hardcore grit. And she had to do it like yesterday.
I mean, she wasted 0 time. We're talking day 1 in a brand new country, and she's already planning her attack. By day 2, she's in the university library printing out a stack of 50 resumes, probably with her hand shaking from just sheer will. And get this, within a single week, she had a job as a barista. This wasn't just about making some cash. This was about survival. This was about building a life from absolute scratch.
So her life just became this insane balancing act. She was basically living 2 lives at once. Her brain was swimming in complex algorithms for her master's program, but her hands were getting callous from steaming milk at the coffee shop. She lived on next to nothing, the cheapest groceries, hardly any sleep, and through all that grind, the most precious and also the most painful moments were those grainy video calls, watching her daughter grow up on a tiny screen, hearing her say new words. It was this mix of pure joy and just a knife to the heart every single time.
So, she does it. Against all odds, she graduates. She even lands a fantastic analyst job at a tech firm. You'd think that's the happy ending, right? Nope. Preeti was about to face her most brutal battle yet. And this one had nothing to do with code or complicated math. It was a war fought with paperwork, stamps, and soul-crushing bureaucracy.
Think about it. She'd already done the impossible, right? She crossed an ocean, crushed a demanding master's program, and got a professional job. And now, she was being beaten by a rubber stamp on a piece of paper. The first visa application for her family? Rejected. Months go by. The second one? Rejected again. It's described as feeling like the sky was literally collapsing on her. But with Rahul's voice on the phone keeping her going, she tried one last desperate time, a real Hail Mary. And it was approved, finally.
So after all those years of struggle, of separation, of staring at a computer screen that was the only window to her family, the moment she fought for was finally here. The whole reason for every single sleepless night, every sacrifice she'd made, it was happening.
And this one number, it just says everything you need to know. 3. Her daughter Radha was 3 years old when they were finally reunited at JFK Airport. That single number represents 2 years of a childhood watched through a screen. 2 years of missed first steps, missed first words, of lullabies sung over a terrible internet connection. The weight of that number, it's just immense.
That reunion at the airport was, well, it was everything. All the years apart, the visa battles, the lonely nights in that tiny apartment, it all led to this one perfect moment. Apparently, Radha hesitated for just a second and then just buried her face in her mother's neck, remembering her scent. I mean, that was the payoff. A family that had been fractured by geography and paperwork was finally whole again.
So years go by, and it's not like the struggles just disappeared, you know? Life happens. There were mortgages, schools, the whole dance of balancing 2 careers. But the difference was, now they were battles they fought together. Preeti eventually became a lead data architect, and one day she found herself standing in front of a group of young interns, ready to share some of the wisdom she'd earned the hard way.
And this is such a powerful way to think about following your passion. She told them, look, passion isn't some flag you just wave around wildly. For her, it was more like a tiny ember that she had to cup in her hands and protect through a really long, cold journey. Her advice was amazing. She said, don't give up on your dreams, but fold them strategically around your responsibilities. Let your dreams be the compass that guides you, not the first thing you throw overboard when things get tough.
You know, Preeti's journey completely changed how she saw the word struggle. For most of us, it's an obstacle, right? It's the opposite of success. But for her, it was the curriculum. It was the class she had to take. The visa rejections, the sleepless nights, that barista job. They weren't roadblocks. They were the lessons. They taught her how to be resourceful, how to be resilient. They gave her a strength she never even knew she had. The struggle wasn't getting in the way of her success. The struggle was the way to her success.
And this was her final, most powerful lesson for those interns. The Preeti who first landed in America was a totally different person from the one standing in front of them now. This version, the one who had balanced budgets on a dime, debugged impossible code, fought an entire immigration system, and soothed a toddler's nightmares, that person was unbreakable. So she told them, don't look at your struggles as failures. See them as the framework. They're the foundation you get to build your magnificent life on.
Preeti's story really shows us that the path to a dream is almost never a straight line, is it? It's a powerful reminder that success isn't about avoiding sacrifice. It's about how you weave your ambitions and your responsibilities together. And her journey leaves us with this really important question to think about. Our struggles, they shape us. They give us a foundation that is uniquely ours. So the real question is, what are you going to build on yours? Please note that all names used in the story are fictional. Any resemblance to real individuals is purely coincidental. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, share, and give us your feedback in the comments section. We look forward to welcoming you to the next episode of Neverland Syndrome.